Underway here at Barrow Raiders. What are they going to come up with in this second half? Trailing 24 points to 6 at the break, and big job on his hands for Nigel Wright to lift this side, and an error early on. It was Ben Davis the culprit, shakes his head in disappointment.
I think he's saying that, is it creation that's all over him, and he will not be happy with that, Nigel Wright. Saying that you've got to make sure that we get toward the end of our sets, chance our arm up the other end of the part, and make sure that we control them in the collision. In the first half, Featherstone getting too many offloads away for Nigel Wright's liking.
Well, Barrow conceded a try late on in the first half, and they run the risk of conceding a try early on in the second half here with that error from the Wigan youngster Ben Davis, just 20 years of age. Finn, Kane, Bryn Powell scooting back in field, and the Barrow Raiders defence struggling to keep a hold of him.
Well, that showed that defensive line was all over the place for Barrow.
Kane, Devorty now. Devorty's progress is stopped. Walker it was with the tackle. Here's Kane, and Kane putting the step on, has seen the gap, looking for his second try. He's lost that ball, I think. It's going to be a video ref call for Ian Smith. I think Andy Kane lost his grip on that ball before he could get it down. But it's Ian Smith's call.
Well, this is the danger of Andy Kane. Does he ground this ball?
No.
No, he loses the ball.
A good job there, Gary Broadbent. Such a hefty scoreline against Barrow. Gary Broadbent, as captain, he needs to keep the flicker and the flame of hope flying, and Gary Broadbent, I think, does enough.
Pure relief for the Barrow Raiders. Almost conceding an early try in the second half. The captain and fullback, Gary Broadbent, just doing enough there to put Andy Kane off.
Well, it's a relief for Ben Davis, who made that mistake. Well, let's see what they've got, how they've actually worked for each other. It's a tough place to bring the ball away. There's Ben Davis on the ball, trying to make up for that earlier mistake.
Walker.
They're good yards then, good hard yards. And the interesting fact about this game is, so far, Mark Gleeson, known for his runs from dummy half, has been really quiet so far. No momentum to run off the back of. There he is in number 9.
I could do with a real lift at the start. Here is Walker again, this dual-registered player who's come from the Giants. Played first team for them last year. Rooney's little chip kick in. That's a better one. And it forces a drastic reaction from Liam Finn to concede a goal line dropout. An opportunity to hear from Rod Studd on the sidelines.
Yeah, well, on the face of it, Bill, it should have been a fairly simple team talk for Darryl Powell, but in essence, it can still be a bit tricky because he's got to give these players a reason to play for the next 40 minutes, and he's set them a target of performing for the whole 80 minutes. He doesn't feel his team have done that this season. Very pleased with the way they've defended, but he had set them a target of completing the first 5 sets at the start of the second half. Well, they didn't do that, did they? They turned the ball over on the 5th tackle with that knock on over the goal line, but decent enough place to turn the ball over, I guess. Well, Nigel Wright, talking to him, pretty emotional Nigel Wright at half-time, Bill, I have to say, and he's told his players this second half is about attitude. He's told them everybody is accountable for their actions, everybody is responsible, and they need to really do themselves justice in the second half and all play like that means something. And if they do that, they might just have a chance of getting something out of this game. I don't think they can get a result, but they might get their pride back, Bill, and that's really what they're playing for in the second half.
Never know, if they manage to get back-to-back tries, perhaps it might just give them a glimmer of hope that they could get back into this game. Here is a character who could maybe conjure something up for them, Zed Luisi. Not that time, just ankle tapped. Liam Harrison now. Brother Ben at Warrington Wolves. Liam tackled by Andy Kane there. The 5th it is. Cross-field kick, not the best. And the situation is diffused, or is it? Wardle it is, trying to keep it alive, can't do so. And it comes to nothing for the Barrow Raiders. But they've probably got a chance, their arm now.
Well, Joe Wall gets that ball and he's looking to offload it. It's the last tackle. He knows that he needs to progress the ball to a teammate. to have any chance of scoring. Catches it cleanly, and just look at the defence there. Matty Dale just won't allow him. Support comes in from his teammates, but Nigel Wright has a real job to do. Only took charge of the team in March. It's difficult to stamp your authority in such a short period of time.
Barrow Raiders, can they even get within a bonus point? Get something from the night. At the moment, even that is way beyond them. Featherstone is taking a while to get going in this second half, and Kane kicks into the corner. It's a neat, intelligent kick right into the corner. It's a great kick, and Broadbent turns, and there's a posse of Featherstone Rovers chasers waiting to meet him.
Well, it doesn't get much better than that. And again, the chase from Featherstone to put pressure, and look at that, they're not giving up. Featherstone, they're not letting the Barrow defending player get to the ground in James Nixon.
Well, now they've got some work to do, the Cumbrian sides. Talking of Cumbrians, among the crowd here tonight, the Rugby Football League president, Bev Risman. There he is, sitting in the stands, and on his personal mission to visit every club during his RFL presidency. So calling in at Big Fella Stadium this evening for this championship game between two of the top sides in the table. Well, on this evidence, Featherstone Rovers very much a top side, but Barrow Raiders with some work to do. And you look at this side out there on the field and should be performing better than this, perhaps, outside the playoff places at the moment.
But what's disappointing about the way Barrow are defending tonight, they're getting the bodies in front of the Featherstone players, but they're not controlling it, they're not dominating it, they're not turning them on the backs. Whereas you watch Featherstone, and when they have to defend.
Get square. Go.
Smeaton plays the ball. Spears, Dickens, Finn, little dummy, but nobody was falling for that in the Barrow Raiders defence. Knowles was the first to get a hold of it. He still gets the ball away. And they keep it moving wide, and Bostock could be in for a hat-trick. He is. Andy Bostock having a great night, but the referee is just having a word with Jamie Rooney over something I think he said as a result of that. For a moment I thought he was going to go to the video ref. And Andy Bostock, I think, feeling that there was a high shot on him as he went into the corner there, but, well, he certainly survived that. Gets his third of the night, 10th of the season. What a great acquisition he's proving to be.
Well, this is good play by Featherstone. But again, just watch Featherstone when they go into the tackle. It's Liam Finn, who's the halfback. He got 3 men in attendance. He has no right to get this ball away. And it's just the second phase rugby. Again, the offload to Devorty. Ian Hardman straightening the play up. And again, Jamie Rooney trying everything, but there's no stopping that man, Andy Bostock. But good second effort by Liam Finn. He didn't go to ground. He knew that he was being supported. And this man's having a field day on the left-hand side.
So Bostock continues the punishment for the Barrow Raiders with that, his third try of the night. Former Great Britain student international Andy Bostock. That's a bit of a distant memory for him now, but a very effective performer in the centres for this Featherstone Rovers side. And Finn, dissatisfied with his goal kicking early on, he's not on target with that one either. 32 points to 6 though. Featherstone Rovers seemingly on target for the top of the table. Daryl Powell, he needs the cleaner in, I think.
He's cleaning window.
Yeah.
I'm not sure his wife Janice should be taking notes. She'll have him doing that.
Windows, or is he waving to somebody?
Is it semaphore? They've lost the walkie-talkie, and that's the backup. Well, that's again the short kick-off. It almost came off, but instead it's come up for Ian Hardman.
Almost came off is not good enough. Again, they have now got to defend in their own half, but giving a penalty away again. They know that they're losing that play.
All the momentum, all the energy is with Featherstone now. They're the team that's having a good time. They're enjoying everything that they do. Look at this kickoff. Unable to field it. Ian Hardman, he gets the ball, he gets the penalty, and I think a try might be on its way.
Oh, and Liam Harrison is the man on the floor. way down the other end of the field, and Barrow Raiders are short on numbers because Harrison is still down on the ground. Play is continuing, and Featherstone looking to capitalise on this. Hardman is upended just short of the try line. Harrison is just getting to his feet, almost at the other end of the field, and they've got the opportunity here. They could be in again. They will be. Smeaton will get his second of the night, and that is cruel for this Barrow Raiders side. While Liam Harrison is just very slowly getting to his feet at the other end of the field, Sam Smeaton was taking full advantage to get his 8th try of the season, his second of the night, and to just ram home this Featherstone Rovers superiority.
Well, Liam Finn, again, he knew exactly where his teammates were, and Liam Harrison, this is where he's supposed to be defending. Obviously, you've got to play what's in front of you, and on this occasion, there was no Liam Harrison. It's straightening the players. Andy Kane does a fantastic job. Jamie Rooney, he just couldn't prevent Smeaton from scoring that try. He's all over the place, Jamie Rooney, trying to defend, but just clutching at straws for Smeaton to score the try.
Just 2 from 7 for Liam Finn so far this evening. By his standards, disappointing return. It's saved Barrow from an even more humiliating scoreline so far. Finn, though, this one looks more promising. It is. He's on target with that one. 38 points to 6. 8 try scorers, or 8 tries so far for the Featherstone Rovers side. 2 of them to Smeaton, 3 of them to Bostock. Most recent meeting here at Featherstone between these two was last August, and bad news for Nigel Wright. Rovers hammered Barrow 72 points to 20. They ran in 13 tries. They could be on course for another hammering here tonight. Already, this time it's come up for them. If at first you don't succeed, follow the Barrow Raiders principle and it will come up for you in the end, and it does for Ned Cattick. Now then, can they at least take advantage of that? Here is Hughes. Gleeson. This time Featherstone Rovers have hardly had to do any defending on their own try line this evening. Here's Ben Davis now. The Wigan youngster on loan here for a short spell. They go close with Luisi. Gleeson now. 4 tackles gone. Ben Davis again, and Davis. That's the 5th tackle. Can they get a repeat set, the Barrow Raiders? Will they run it? No, Coyle stabs the kick in. Hardman, well, they will get the ball back. Ian Hardman opting for safety first there.
Well, Featherstone's defence again on the try line was fantastic. A good kick by James Coyle. Well, again, you feel that the only way that Barrow are going to score a try is from the kick. The try they scored in the first half was from the mistake from Featherstone. They didn't break the line. They've been defending heroically on their own line. Featherstone.
Time on. Stay on.
So goal line dropout. Some reward for the Barrow Raiders.
Fast. Move.
Ballard.
Wait.
First points of the game came from Andy Ballard. It's a distant memory for this Barrow Raiders side.
Second. Move.
Finn.
Hold. Go.
Eager in the tackle. Trying to drive Michael Knowles back. Ben Davis showing up well in this second half for his club. The club he's with at the moment, I should say. Coyle had Broadbent moving up on his inside, but
Tony, don't put your hand on his face. Come on.
collared by Ben Kay. Here's Gleeson now. Rooney, Luisi through a gap. Cattick is. Has he got that ball down, Ned Cattick?
I don't think he has, Billa. If it's not been stripped.
The ball was ripped there, please.
Well, I think this ball was stripped.
I think it may have been stripped, Tez, you're right. Let's just have another look at it. Simple 3v2.
Oh, he's lost it well before the line, hasn't he?
And I don't know whether I'm going to change my mind. I don't know whether he's dropped it. We'll have a look at it from this angle. Is there a hand in the way? I think he's dropped it, Tez.
Well, I actually think that it's Andy Kane. His arm, he grips hold of Ned Caddick's right, and I think this is just a loose carry. He loses this ball.
Well, more heroic defence from the Featherstone Rovers. And poor Barrow just can't break the line, and the minute they do, they drop the ball.
Pick on the 20.
And then that's an unfortunate error from Ned Katic, who's worked desperately hard for his team.
Out.
Never gets much joy from referees, Ned Katic. Well, everything going right for Featherstone Rovers at the moment. 38 points to 6. They're going to be a busy club, Featherstone. They've got eyes on their championship campaign. They've got the Northern Rail Cup to aim for. They've also got progress in the Challenge Cup, a possibility, distinct possibility. They have a home tie against Lesignan coming up next month. So they'll be hoping to be progressing in that competition as well.
Well, this is what they need. They just need to build a bit of pressure, get the ball back, and just a mistake from Ian Hardman.
It's gone through, play on.
That ball's gone through the hands, and Tonks quickest there. Tony Tonks reacted superbly to that loose ball.
Well, just as I say that, Barrow made the mistake. It's just a ball from Ben Davis. It's just too high. James Coyle couldn't take that in, but there's that urgency I talk about.
Lovely short ball. Finds Matty Dale, and Gratian slides over to join the list of scorers here. Matty Dale it was with the break that set him up though. Big, lanky John Gratian, the former Harlequins forward, and 5 seasons a Giant, gets his 5th try of this campaign for his latest club, Featherstone Rovers.
Well, when they get decent field position, they are chasing the game, they're trying everything. But what about that for urgency from Tonks? And Matty Dale, he has had an absolute fantastic game. He doesn't panic, he waits for John Gratian to get up to him. He changes the tempo of his run. And this is just good read, started by that man, Liam Finn. Matty Dale hits a real good unders line. No problem, no pressure. I'm going in for the try.
The Featherstone Rovers pack have been pretty dominant this evening, well, virtually totally dominant. Finn, this to improve his goal-kicking stats for this evening as Featherstone Rovers approach the 50 margin. On target. 44 points to 6. Featherstone Rovers lead. They will go top of the championship table this evening.
Well, one of the interesting facts about tonight, Featherstone have made 12 breaks, Barrow have made 13 handling errors. It's a very difficult night when you don't control the ball, when you continually hand it over.
Barrow already conceding their biggest scoreline of the season, heaviest defeat for Nigel Wright's men. Painful time for this Barrow Raiders club, such high expectations. You've got to remember they only recently were promoted. They've done so well in the 3 seasons they've been back up in the middle tier here in the championship. And probably it's those expectations early on that have been a double-edged sword. That's committed defence from Andy Ballard to drag Tom Saxton into touch. But such was the impact that this Barrow Raiders side made when they came into the championship, Terry, that now they're expected to be up there.
Well, everyone's expecting real big things from them this year. That'll lift Andy Ballard's confidence. Tommy Saxton into touch. But I think it's what Barrow have got. They've got some fantastic players and some of the best players in the competition, but they're just not performing.
Well, they perform there. Nigel Wright, the 6th coach in just under 2 years that the Barrow Raiders have had. That's on a par with Notts County Football Club, who've had 8 managers in the last 18 months. It hardly breeds stability. The players are not sure what regime they're working under.
Well, maybe that's the word. You're looking for stability, and if you look at Featherstone, they've had Darryl Powell's been here for 3.5 years now. Built a stable squad. They've not really moved on. They've added the odd player here and there.
Well, they've shown up stronger in the second half of the Barrow Raiders, but yet to add to that first-minute try from Ballard. Ballard is chasing that kick. So is Michael Haley. But it's fielded by Tom Saxton.
Well, again, don't underestimate what Tom Saxton under Matty James going for a shot on Bostock. Don't underestimate what Tom Saxton did. He looked up and he saw what was in front of him. And if he didn't duck down under that, he would have been forced behind the line, forcing a goal line dropout. There's a problem with Matt James there. He pulls away from that tackle, clutching his hand.
And do you know, it's a good point that you make, lads. You've talked about Darryl Powell, but Ryan Sheridan, Danny Evans, there's big Matty James, who put a couple of shots on, but those coaches, and that's an error. An unforced error from Tim Spears.
Barrow Raiders then have the ball back. Matt James leaving the field. Saw Liam Harrison hobbling off earlier on, so just adding to Barrow Raiders' pain. But they have possession at the moment. Gleeson. And a knock on there. Oh, nothing going right. Fletcher couldn't hold on to the ball. Frustration for this Barrow side.
And Mickey Haley in the headgear, low and hard. Just hits him just below the ball. And Fletcher can't control. It's a difficult night for Nigel Wright. Martin Clausen down on numbers, possibly 2 subs that are unable to go back onto the field.
And as we said, this really tough schedule coming up for this Barrow Raiders side. Next up for them, Lee Centurions, until tonight the championship leaders, and probably back on the table, top of the table very shortly, Lee.
It's just finding a way to get that win. That's all they need. With so many players, the potential that they've got in this Barrow side, it's just about gaining confidence and putting some back-to-back results together.
Hold your Seb, hold. Go. Okay, outside.
Kick into the corner. It's another good one. It's another one that forces Gary Broadbent into rearguard action. And the chase led by Johnny Hepworth and Sam Smeaton.
Well, it's just been relentless all night, Bill. Gary Broadbent is having a tough job at the back. The kick into the corners, they're putting an awful lot of pressure. The kick chase has been fantastic. And the second effort, after they've made collision, it's been very good.
And the way that Darryl Powell can rotate his players. Johnny Hepworth came on, he made 3 very energetic tackles. That lifts your side.
Well, from a Featherstone Rovers perspective, this has been a very enjoyable spectacle for their supporters, and especially for the youngsters who've come here tonight, taking advantage of the Kids Go Free scheme. Remember, it's on during the Easter holidays at championship clubs, in the cooperative championships, I should say. And he's back again in May and back again in the summer holidays. Right way of encouraging the younger element to drag themselves away from their place, well, whatever you call them, these machines. Nearly slipped into that one, nearly. Just on the teetering on the brink there from their home entertainment devices, shall we say. And get out and see some rugby league.
Let's hold the line.
He's had a great game, Liam Finn. They just cannot control him.
So's this guy, Andy Kane, and Kane darting through a gap. Little kick ahead. Just too strong, looking for Bryn Powell. Powell couldn't get there, was nice idea.
Andy Kane making the break. Some tired defenders just decides, I'll just dink it in the corner. The bounce of the ball for once goes against Featherstone, and Bryn Powell denied his latest try.
Well, there's a stat for you, isn't it? 12 breaks to 1.
Play on.
One missed tackle by Featherstone, 16 by the Barrow Raiders. Really haven't had an awful lot of defending to do. Especially in their danger zone. Featherstone Rovers dominating this game. Broadbent. Morrison, Scottish international, all over his back. Ball tipped on, looking to ship it on to Andy Ballard. Didn't come off for Wardle.
Well, they're creating the overlap, and quick hands by Zeb Louisi, and Joe Wardle just could not tear that in. But everything correct. They looked up, there was 3 on 2. Bostock had come in, and then it would have been a clear 2 on 1 with Tommy Saxton.
Here we go, lads.
But it's just not going for Barrow tonight.
There's 18 minutes left though, Tez. Barrow can't afford to think this isn't our night, or else this could end up a very heavy defeat. Very embarrassing, humiliating night. I'm sure Gary Broadbent won't allow that to happen. There's a number of performances, Ned Katic being one of them as well.
Move! Wait!
They won't be looking for the long grass.
Here's Hepworth back in rugby league after quite a long spell playing rugby union. Went to Leinster. Played for the Leeds Tykes as they were at the time, and also for most recently for Rotherham. But brought back into rugby league by Darryl Powell, a coach who knew him well from his Leeds Rhinos days.
Without being disrespectful to Liam Finn, he's going around like a prop forward. He's getting out of tackles. That's again a fantastic ball. He's attracting the Barrow defenders towards him. But the amount of offloads that he's getting.
Morrison just struggling there to get to his feet. Of course, Ian Morrison had injury problems ahead of the season, and Broadbent under a bit of pressure there. Had Kane all over his back. Well, problems galore for the Barrow Raiders, not just on the field with this scoreboard, but players injured off it, and I think Rod's got some news of that.
Yeah, I think they're going to struggle to keep the scoreline under 50 here, Bill, aren't they? Because they've got problems on the field and off it while they're running out of troops. There's Matt James with a forearm injury, very unlikely to return. Liam Harrison off as well with that back injury, he's very unlikely to return as well. So running out of troops here, they just haven't got enough bodies, they can't rotate the players, and pretty soon they're going to run out of petrol out there, and they've still got to survive another 15.5 minutes. A tall order.
And they're defending again. Smeaton playing the ball, another player looking for a hat-trick tonight. Remember, Bostock's already got his trio. Smeaton on a pair so far.
Go, Michael, wait. Go.
Will a forward be the latest to get on the scoreboard? Another prop perhaps. Tonks just short of the try line. Kane fires that ball up. Devorty is it? He's held up.
Short there, 5. Let's move. Wait on the line. Wait.
Just short of the try line.
Go.
Fifth tackle that. So Finn, time to pick his spot. Cross the field. Powell back inside. Oh, it was there for Smeaton, and it closes in his face. If it had bounced more kindly, then the hat-trick would have been there.
Well, Darryl Powell will be saying, just put the ball over the line, man. That's the line in front of him.
Which Bryn Powell could have done, surely.
Absolutely correct.
But just trying to be too kind. There's no room for sentiment in this sport.
It's
as
a
you
team.
two will surely testify.
Bill, it's a team sport. I've done that many a times when I was stood out on the wing.
Leapt high, salmon-like, to catch the ball.
Stickleback.
Stickleback.
Squid. Well, it's a let-off for the Barrow Raiders, that's for sure, because that should have been more points for Featherstone there. And I'm not so sure that Darryl Powell is the sort of coach who would appreciate that soppy sentimentality that was on display there. There's no part of that.
Just put them to the sword, score as many points as you can, inflict misery on the opposition. That's what Darryl Powell will be after.
James Coyle put in a decent enough kick. Ian Hardman just catches it on the full. This is relentless from Featherstone.
Oh, catch it high on Bryn Powell. The arm came down, said the referee.
Yeah, to be fair, he pulled out of that tackle, Ned Katic.
Saxton always looking for something to happen. This time it happens in favour of Ben Davis, and Davis, who's been committed in this second half. Wholehearted performance from the Wigan youngster. And Ballard across the field. Is there some respectability still to be gained for the Barrow Raiders side? Jack Hughes now.
3, move. 2 feet line, let's wait.
Well, this is where dual registration sometimes maybe doesn't work to the benefit of the player to be involved in a side that's on the receiving end of something like this.
But that's all part of your rugby league education, Bill. You've got to learn how to win. You've got to be in matches that are tight and sometimes experience the laws of rugby league.
Well, certainly the likes of Jack Hughes are doing that tonight. Broadbent, long trip home it's going to be for these Barrow Raiders players. Oh, and even then, when they had the opportunity out wide, they couldn't get the pass. Rooney trying to fire the ball, and Smeaton able to bat it away.
Well, Sam Smeaton, he's sniffing this. Oh, sorry, it was Andy Kane. He knew exactly what Jamie Rooney was going. He was going to go for that long ball. Fortunately for him and his Featherstone teammates, he's now got to defend another set of 6.
Hands off.
There's a problem with a couple of the Featherstone players.
Let's form a scrum, fellas.
It's Andy Kane who came up with the interception there, I should say.
Come on, Featherstone, let's get in the scrum quicker. We've got to get the formation faster.
But head and feed it is to the Barrow Raiders. Here's Luisi. Oh, Luisi thought about, even at the last ditch there, trying to get the ball out of the back door. Decided against.
2, move!
Wardle, very close for Barrow Raiders. Can they trouble the scorer in the second half? Coyle, Hardman across, defending desperately, just as he did with that miraculous tackle on Gary Broadbent. But Gleeson could be in. No, again! You'd think there was only a try and a goal in it, the way that Featherstone are defending the try line. Morrison that time. The little grubber kick comes in. I'm sure that Joe Wardle was offside there.
I agree with you, Bill.
You just check to see if he's offside.
I agree with you. He's kicked that ball, he's pulled it back in, and Joe Wardle just anticipated it a bit too early. You can see Zeb Luisi.
Oh, I don't know, Tez.
My first reaction, that he's offside.
I think there's millimetres in it. Millimetres.
I was blinded, Mark.
Millimetres?
What's less than a millimetre?
Well, Ian Smith is the video ref.
I think he might get this, Tez.
That first angle is the deceptive one. They're having a look at the grounding. Young Joe Wardle, 19 years of age, dual registered with the Giants, gets the try that Barrow Raiders have deserved in this second half. It's been a more committed performance from Barrow, you'd have to say that. At least Nigel Wright has got that out of his side in the second half, and the kick from Luisi coming up for Wardle.
Well, it shows character when you don't throw the towel in. And originally I thought that Zeb Luisi just held on a bit too long, just stuttered. But Joe Wardle, he plays to the whistle, he puts his arm up, he puts himself in a position to score this try. And that's what you like to see, the character. Don't give up, try everything, put your arm up. Joe Wardle, I think he nearly gave himself up then.
Well, it was video ref Ian Smith's view that counted, and he decided that it was close, but Wardle was onside. The conversion on target from Rooney, and 44 points to 12, the scoreline.
Well, Joe Wardle, who started his career at the Bradford Bulls, well thought of at the Huddersfield Giants, nicknamed Desperate Dan by his Giants teammates. They'll all be cheering him on tonight. Showed good discipline, maybe marginal whether he's onside or offside, but he gets the try.
And it's been a long time since the Barrow Raiders ran in a try. The first minute of the game, in actual fact, they've had to wait until the 68th minute for their second. Ballard and Wardle, their try scorers.
Well, let's not forget, it was the second try was from a kick, the first try was from a mistake. But they're not giving up, and that's a good run by from Ned Katic.
Morrison.
Oh, that was great line speed from Morrison.
That's what you've got to like about Ian Morrison. He just throws himself into every tackle that he goes into.
London-born Ian Morrison, Scottish international. Began in rugby union, but quickly snapped up by rugby league, and he's had a long career in the game. Walker putting that ball down.
Young Adam Walker, another one of these players. I talked about rugby league education. You've got to work through situations like this. Ian Morrison, delighted with that mistake.
Got the formation, come on Liam.
But Walker, one of a number of players from the Giants system who benefit from this time. As I say, you've got to learn. You've got to be in situations like this. Learn how to get out of them as well. I don't think Barrow will get out of this one.
Pass, move, hold.
Here's Hepworth.
Go.
Plays the ball. Oh, and Morrison having to throw himself in. That was a stray pass, and he's come up with it.
Well, look at Ian Morrison straight away. He's looking straight at Mickey Haley. What was that?
It was a Terry O'Connor pass, that one, as I recall. That was a 1997 pass.
3.
Finn. reversing out of trouble, gets the ball away, but it was forward to Haley.
Liam Finn having that good of a time with the offloads. Just look, nothing out there. Stu Dickens in his way, tries to offload it. And unfortunately for him and Featherstone, it's forward. Darryl Powell scratching his head. It'll fall out if you scratch it too hard, Darryl.
Well, Barrow heading for another defeat. They've lost now, it'll be 5 of the last 7 in all competitions of the Raiders. So it's an erratic start to the season. They're going to remain outside the playoff places after this. Not even a bonus point to show for their efforts. And a lot of work to be done to get things back on track at the South Cumbria club.
And if all the players are willing to put their hands up and learn from this defeat tonight, I'm sure we will see a better Barrow side next time they're in front of the Sky cameras.
Finn applauding the tackle from Bostock, who has starred for Featherstone Rovers with his hat-trick. 2 for Sam Smeaton. Crossfield kick. Katic is chasing that. Powell is underneath it.
Well, did he catch it out of the field of play? I think he did, you know.
Did he?
I think he did, Bill, and I think you judge from Bryn Powell's action. There he is.
Oh, good spot.
He's out or in the field of play.
And Gareth Ewer just confirming. Very good spot, not just from Gareth Ewer, but from Barry McDermott.
It's not often I'm wrong, Bill. Only in our house am I wrong.
Let's go, lad. All inside, Tommy.
Finn. Get some distance on that. And Ben Davis.
Fast! Move! Wait.
Well, Featherstone learning at half-time that they will meet Halifax in the semi-finals of the Northern Rail Cup. That a game to be played here at the Big Fellas on June the 16th. And at the weekend, it'll be Lee against Dewsbury at the Lee Sports Village. That's ingenious from Zeb Luisi. Gleeson. Here is Luisi again.
Fourth. Move, Matty! Wait. Good work, Stuart, well done. Keep it up.
Rooney. Chip kick over the top, way too strong from Rooney, looking for Ballard in the corner, but only finding touch.
Scrum down.
Disappointing return to Featherstone for Jamie Rooney.
He'll be disappointed, Jamie Rooney. He'll be disappointed that he's not had any decent play the balls to come off the back of him and James Coyle. You can see when they do get some decent play the balls and some decent space around the ruck area, they do look to exploit them gaps. It's just not been often enough for him or his teammates tonight.
Out.
Saxton. It's been a good recovery from Featherstone Rovers, because of course we saw them in the opening championship game of the season at Lee, where they lost 36-10, and they had a poor night. They lost players through injury. Liam Wellham off the field, still off the field, but saying before the game that he's only a week or so away from a comeback. Sam Smeaton was injured that night as well. It was a disappointing night for Featherstone, but since then they really have bounced back well. They've now won 9 of 11 in all games this season.
Too slow.
And
Drop forward. Hold on.
well, 44 points here, but prior to this they'd scored 50 points in each of the last 2 games, so they're in a very good run of form, and they get the penalty.
And I think that's the area where they've won the game. The play of the ball has been far quicker than their opposition. Lads like Stuart Dickens, Tony Tonks, Johnny Gratian, Tim Spears, Matty Dale have totally dominated their opposites. Have I missed anybody, Bill?
I was just thinking, and who have you missed off?
Ian Morrison, Ross Devotey. It's true. It's true, they have won all the key battles.
Well, they've won the big battle out there against one of their main rivals, or supposed main rivals in the championship. But Barrow not living up expectations, and Finn puts kick in. Powell dodges inside, goes over for another try, his second of the night for Bryn Powell, and finished that one so easily. James Coyle disconsolate in the background at the way, but Bryn Powell, a Welsh international, just danced his way through, and he congratulates the Irish international Liam Finn for the kick.
Well, this is a poor end to the game for Barrow Raiders. We're saying, can they finish positively? Again, it's the offload. It's the second phase that's created from Featherstone. And look at the amount of time that Liam Finn had to kick that ball. It was a poor effort by James Nixon on his opposite, Bryn Powell. But again, a pinpoint kick. Bryn Powell, he sets himself and goes in for a simple try in the corner for Featherstone. It's just too easy. Too easy. Hepworth, offload. Finn, what am I going to do? I'm going to kick the ball over to the corner, and who's going to get the ball? Bryn Powell, and we're going to finish with a try.
Well, that's brought a smile to the face of the coach. He approved of that. And 10 tries so far tonight for Featherstone Rovers in this emphatic victory. And Liam Finn, another touchline conversion. Missed with that one as well. And 48 points to 12. Well, I said they'd hit 50 in the previous 2 games, but they'll be aiming for 50 again now. And, well, it's a long night, or it has been, for Nigel Wright. Difficult job. Once the game's most expensive teenager, Nigel Wright was, cost £140,000 in July 1993 when he moved from Wakefield to Wigan.
And an interesting stat about Nigel Wright: played in the last Yorkshire Cup final and received the man of the match at the tender age of 18, the youngest player ever to receive it. Darryl Powell will be absolutely thrilled to bits with the performance of his team tonight. A very successful player in his time, Darryl, but again doing a tremendous job for the Featherstone Rovers. They won't be keen to let him go. They want to tie him up, and hopefully Darryl Powell take them all the way back into Super League.
Well, Nigel Wright, another of his claims to fame, as he was the youngest ever man of the match in a Yorkshire Cup final with Wakefield against Sheffield in 1992. And Darryl Powell should have played in that match for the Eagles, but he was injured and missed that one.
Well, again, Gary Broadbent trapped in the corner of the park. Who's going to put the hands up for this Barrow side to return this ball? Talked earlier on, Bill, about when Featherstone got beat when they played at Leigh. There's the mistake, is it, from Ben Davis? No, it was Rip, says the referee. Gareth Hewitt. But Featherstone, they've come back stronger from that defeat. You've got to go away, you've got to lick your wounds. How can I get better? It's not just about the coach, it's about the players personally. There's the penalty.
Just into the last minute then of this championship game, and Featherstone Rovers, well, they will go top of the championship table here tonight. Leigh Centurions aiming to overhaul them, but this has shown just what a battle there's likely to be again, once again in the championship. Leigh looking pretty emphatic and pretty awesome this season. Well, this is pretty awesome from Featherstone Rovers. The hooter sounds, last play of the game, Barrow Raiders in possession. But what a distant memory it is for the Raiders. And that very early try from Andy Ballard, which gave them such hope early on. Well, since then, they've been rocked back on their heels by a real committed performance, a 1-17 performance from this Featherstone Rovers side, which has moved them, as I said, to the top of the championship table. And it has been, well, a very, very comprehensive Featherstone victory, a comprehensive